Hi, I'm Evelyn and I'm building my own tiny house. It turns out that my shipping container isn't actually my little baby, but rather my older sister. She is 55 years old already. She must be one of the first shipping containers ever. I love her though, and once she's done, she's going to protect me. Okay, we are about 3 weeks on since the last time, and many things happened, including that I've been working on a part that actually should have been done before you're the proud owner of a shipping container. I got a bit sidetracked, so there were some distractions, and I got a bit claustrophobic, but I got a solution for that, I hope. And I got a taste of how much work this is actually going to be. And that is quite literally. The very first part is usually left out of progress videos, and that is because it's boring, it's different for everyone, it's boring, it costs a lot of time, it's boring, and it isn't a really nice view on a video because it's quite boring, and that is the legal part. If you're going to put a lot of time, effort and money into a project, you really want to keep it and not have to remove it once it's done. So I assume that most people work out what is legal and what is illegal before they even start their project. Whereas I didn't have a project until it was already staring me in the face. So I have a lot of catch-up work to do. The other thing often left out is the process of deciding what the interior build will look like. Where comes the bathroom, the kitchen, etc. That involves a lot of drawing, and I made quite some two-dimensional models, including miniature figures of furniture like the bed and the couch, so that I can shuffle them around to see what it looks like and how it will fit. And for that, I also watched a lot of videos on how others build their tiny houses. So I've spent a lot of time on the computer. I have a better idea of what I want now, but nothing is concluded yet. And I think that is going to be so for a very long time, because I seem to have a different building process than most people. I see these YouTube videos where they usually start either with buying the materials or with the build itself, but they must have pre-planned everything. Like they plan what the house or their project will look like, then they go buy materials and then they start to build. Whereas I feel like I am working on the far out ends of the same road, where on the one side I try to figure out the plan of where the bathroom will be and the kitchen and maybe even down to where the sockets will be. And on the other side there is the shipping container in its current state. And I'm feeling very stretched out trying to bring those two far ends a little closer together and meet in the middle to get a beautiful house out of it. And I'm trying to do this on a small budget, which means that I make it into a sport to get my materials either second hands or from leftovers from other people's projects or from cancelled orders. If someone, for example, measured their windows wrong, then they try to sell it for a lower price. So my building process is going to be quite different, where my plans will decide what materials I try to find, but the materials I am finding and buying will impact my plans. So this is going to be potentially more difficult, but I hope it's going to be more fun as well along the way, and it's going to save me a lot of money. So even though I know better what I want, there is always this uncertain factor that I do not know what materials will be available when I need to buy them. And then there's the fact I just wouldn't know what to do on my own. even if I get a better understanding of what I want, I still need to ask a lot of questions on how to execute that. That is a lot of reaching out to people and ask, but also watching even more videos to get ideas of what is possible and then what is a bit more easy. I heard the phrase, building is making decisions, and I already feel the truth of that. Besides being asked questions that I don't have answers for yet, and trying to figure out what I want, what is possible, what I deem possible for me to make, and I'm also trying to figure out if that is then legally possible. There comes a lot of decisions with that, and with that a lot of information. So that's overwhelming, and I'm really getting scared sometimes of all this decision making, and I'm really scared of making decisions that I'm going to regret later on, which is probably going to happen anyway, because I cannot build everything that I've already needed to let some of my ideas go, because I don't deem it possible or practical. So sometimes I just got scared and overwhelmed, and I would just flee to the container practically, just to work on something that I could understand and knew what I need to do. Or I could rephrase that and say all this decision making gave me the much needed courage to actually start. Here I am, still happy and excited to start. No idea that dusk mask would be needed a little longer than just for getting the glass fiber plates from the roof. By the way, what an awful stuff glass fiber is. Honestly, if you get it into your skin, it'll irritate for days on end. Then just trying some ways to get that insulation off. Nope, no good. And no good either. That stuff still sticks very well, even after 55 years. Some people suggested to keep the insulation that is already in the container. So, even though I had already started to pry a few pieces out, I had to stop and think it through. At some point I decided that the insulation couldn't match 55 years of innovation, and also that I would gain quite some width and even more height inside in the container if I would pry it out and put new insulation on the outside. I must say that despite the work, I'm really happy with that decision, because if I thought that the container was just a bit leaky, that was an understatement. It's leaky here and here. The rain seeps through and soaks the insulation, which then damages everything that can rust. Then things became better. I found a better way of attacking the insulation and a better way of filming that. If only my stamina and strength would become better too. Along the way of trying to figure out what I want, there came some quite fancy ideas. For example, I wanted at some point a whole wall only consisting of windows, or make one side just be able to slide it all away or open it up. Some people suggested me, for example, to make the whole unit 1/2 meter wider for better dimensions. And some people said just ditch the container and start over with a wooden frame. But To each of these ideas there are downsides, like costs and practicality, and that keeping it simple is quite a challenge for me already. And if you want to keep warmth out in the summer and cold out in the winter and bugs out all year round, for example, then you don't want to slide it open. And also about getting rid of it and start over with a wooden frame, I'm not sure. I mean, come on, I found some love for my big sister already. Over the course of these few weeks I dropped these fancy ideas and many more, which is a bit sad, but at some point I approached it from a different angle. And I started asking myself questions like, what do I need a house for? When do I feel at home? What will I do when I'm home? And what am I lacking in my current home? So it really got me thinking, and I discovered that the fancy ideas, most of them, didn't match actually with the answers that I got from these very important questions. So that was surprising. For example, it turns out that I'm outside a lot of the time as long as the sun shines all year round. So what do I do in a house with big windows if I'm only there when it's dark? And well, then there was the other side. Then I got back into the container and I was standing there and looking around, and I was like, okay, so this is it then. Just a big black box without windows. And I got so claustrophobic of that, so that wasn't the solution either. So then I started to think again, and then I came up with a good idea, and I searched on my favorite website for second-hand stuff, and I found this one sunroom that is truly beautiful, but needs some love. After quite some bargaining, I bought it, and with the three of us we took it down. That is going to give me extra space and loads of windows. So after we took the sunroom down and home, I was completely spent. I overreached myself completely. And well, it took me days to regain my energy and strength after that. And within those days, I discovered that one of the window panes of the sunroom has broken during transport. To say that I was upset is a real understatement. I was really angry and very sad about that, because I couldn't even think clearly about it, and yeah, I didn't count on that. So it's going to cost me more than I had calculated in. So yeah, well, after some days I calmed down, I regained my energy, and I could think a bit more clearer. And well, the sunroom is set aside. It's sort of safe for now, and I only can actually do something about it and know how much it's going to cost me and how I can replace that window when I'm actually ready to rebuild it. And that is nowhere near. So I parked my feelings together with the sunroom, and sometimes things are not going as planned. I just hope to be in a better shape when the next time comes, because it's going to happen again, I'm afraid. But good things also happen. While I was away, a little bird decided that my house is her house as well. And I got a bit sidetracked by this one seedling that was growing on the roof. It comes from one of the trees that we had to cut away to free the container. Before all this, I was doing some core and strength training daily, just not my arms. I didn't deem it important. Well, I can say that I regretted that decision dearly once I started. This looks like it's going great, but the reality is more like this. Oh well, I reckon that before all this is done with, I have gained some muscles. And although the invisible stuff, all the computer work and the drawings took me way more time than the visible progress in the container, I hope to show you more of the latter next time. Come on, Evie, they're here. But Lynn, they're watching us. Yeah. That is sort of what we are here for. Oh, really? Yeah. In that case, hello! Well, more like goodbye, as it's the end of the video, see? Oh, that's sad. But they can like it. With a button, did you know? And they can also do a thing called subscribe, if they want to see the next one too. Yeah, I assume they know that. They are all way longer on YouTube than we are, you know. Oh, that's so cool. And they can even click on a notification bell. So that a real bell, ding, sounds whenever we upload. Isn't that the coolest thing? No. Not? No. The coolest thing is that they can write a comment or even ask questions to us. Ooh, right under the video. Yeah, please do. Let us know what you like most. Yeah, right there, under the video. And for now, until the next one.